Hello, young scholars. It is Tuesday, April 7th. I wanted to quickly check in, make sure everyone's doing all right. That's the most important thing, is we're taking care of ourselves right now. Second, I wanted to fill you in on some of the things that the College Board recently announced last Friday. Some of you may have seen this already, but there's been some changes to the AP World History test I wanted you guys to be aware of. First, the test is going to be on May 21st, which is a Thursday at 1 o'clock. You will be taking it online. It is an open book, open notes test. So you can use the resources you have available. You are not allowed, though, to talk to anyone or discuss the test at any point during the time period of the test. It is going to be a 45-minute mini DBQ essay that you will be writing. So Miss Dixon and I were wrong, but that shouldn't come as a surprise to you. It's going to include 5 documents, so a 5-document DBQ essay, not your typical 7 documents, so that's a little bit better in terms of trying to get it done in the 45 minutes. You guys are ready for DBQ. Really want to stress that. We've practiced it a few times throughout the year. We still need to practice it some more. So one of the things that Ms. Dixon and I will be doing over the course of the next month and a half to get you ready is to give you some different examples and have you doing some practices, and you can submit those to us and get some feedback on things that you're doing well, things that maybe you could improve upon. So the content that will be covered by the DBQ only includes what are the AP units 1 through 6, which is our units 1 through 12, and that's good news too because we covered all of that in class. The one exception is that little bit left of Unit 12, which you should have taken a look at and finished out through Canvas. But the biggest change is going to be to the rubric. So let's take a look at the rubric and see what changes the College Board has made. So the first thing that you will notice about this rubric is that it is a 10-point rubric, and that is different from the 7-point rubric that we had been practicing in class. Now, there's some of the things in it that are very similar, and there's a few things that are slightly different. So let's go over those things. First, what goes in your introductory paragraph? Hopefully in your mind you're saying contextualization and thesis, and that's the exact same. Those are the first 2 points that you can earn, contextualization and thesis, in your introductory paragraph. First, you have your contextualization. Remember, that's provides the broader historical context that gets the reader up to speed. It provides the most relevant and recent context or events that helps the reader understand what the essay is going to be about. Then in your introductory paragraph, you're going to include a thesis. We're going to provide a historically defensible argument or claim. Now in class, we've talked a lot about when you're reading through the documents, trying to group them together and potentially creating 3 groups. Well, given that you only have 5 documents, I am blessing you, and in fact maybe even encouraging you, to instead try practicing grouping in 2 groups. And so you have 2 groups of documents rather than 3 groups of documents. And then that can then be converted into an effective thesis where you're establishing an argument around those documents. Next, you'll notice most of the big changes occur in the body paragraph. So first, evidence from the documents. Before we talked about how you could use 3 documents successfully to get 1 point, 6 documents to get 2 points. Well, now it's a little bit different. 1, you can use 2 documents. If you use 2 documents and you just use the content of those documents, you just basically summarize them, refer to them, then you can get 1 point for just doing that. So just using 2 documents gets you 1 point. If you use 2 documents, but you use them in a way that is supportive of an argument that you're making that's responsive to the prompt, then that can be worth another point. And then you can score a third point from using the documents, and that's if you use up to 4 out of the 5 documents to support an argument that you're making. So if you use 4 documents in support of an argument, that is how you get 3 full points for using evidence from the documents. Next, you'll notice we talked about this outside evidence point. So remember, that is a piece of evidence that is not found in the documents, but is something that you can use to support the argument that you're making. And before we said you only had to use 1 of them. You only had to include 1 piece of outside evidence to get that 1 point. Well, now they're allowing you to use 2 pieces of outside evidence to potentially get 2 points. So if you provide one specific piece of additional evidence and you provide a second piece of additional evidence, then you will score 2 points on this 10-point rubric. Now remember, you only have 5 documents, and so it's really important that you add some more of the outside evidence from your brain in your essay to potentially score those 2 points. And then you can score 2 points potentially for doing document sourcing. And we've talked about how this is these are some of the harder points to get. And so maybe something you might want to take out of your routine, but if you want to give it a shot, you have the time, go for it. But you're explaining the importance of either the purpose, the audience, the author, or the historical context. Remember, we talked about taking documents apart and talking about why a document is reliable or not, or the potential biases. You can't just say this document is biased. You have to explain why or how. And if you do that for 2 of the documents, then you can score 2 points. So we talked before about how in class you had to do this 3 times successfully in order to score 1 point on the old rubric. Well, now if you do it 2 times successfully, you can score 2 points on this modified 10-point rubric. And then finally, there's the complex understanding, or the unicorn point. This is not something you should be striving for, but it's just something that will happen, hopefully, if you write a really solid essay in the 45 minutes that you're given. So the one big thing you should notice is that there's really been a shift in terms of the points. More points can be awarded by using evidence, both from the documents and outside evidence, and then sourcing some of the documents, so there's more points to be gained by doing body paragraphs. So that may shift some of your thinking around in terms of, all right, I really want to limit my contextualization to maybe 3 or 4 sentences, and I want to try and get to those body paragraphs so I can be scoring those points as well. But we'll have more on that as we go, and you guys can practice this a bunch, and we'll give you a whole bunch of prompts that you can do some practicing on. All right, again, we can do this. You guys should feel confident. You guys have practiced some of these pieces before, and now it's all just putting it all together. All right, thanks for watching, and have a great day.